Okay, it's the great and glorious, soon to be famous one, Nick Dutch, back on the camera again one more time. Hi there, how the heck's it going? This is really rather curious. This little comment's turned up at roughly the time when I was actually contemplating this very subject. So, something funny going on there? Difficult to say. Okay, it says here, trying to disprove the existence of a or multiple higher beings is even harder than trying to actually prove it. Yes. And the only reason why there is such an obsession about this is because of the cultures which have been laid down by various different theological groups as far as like objective existences are concerned. And why people don't actually try and like move away from all this attempts at proof, okay, and try and move towards something which is more important, like what good does this, that and the other do, is essentially down to cultural perspectives. And also the damage which has been done through cult thinking and certain negative aspects of New Age thinking or occult thinking or spiritualist thinking, which has been brought about by a lot of people who either should know better or didn't know well enough broadcasting or writing or saying things, okay? I mean, I'm all in favor of freedom of speech, definitely, okay? But on the other hand, you know, there's a lot of people who don't quite know what they're talking about, who feel that they should exercise their right to freedom of speech, which means there's arguments which are written by or spoken by someone who doesn't fully understand what they're talking about, which ends up in the public eye. Okay, it ends up in the public eye, and that causes all the problems. Because then people become obsessed with trying to prove that ghosts exist, rather than saying, well, hang on a second, there's a strange experience which happens when I do a Ouija board seance, so let's just try and play around with that. Or there's a strange experience which happens when I do the pendulums, let's just play around with that instead. Okay, I mean, the arguments of this thing really exists or that thing really exists makes life a lot harder. Because the moment someone has created a belief based upon this, that and the other thing actually existing, then there will be more presuppositions about that thing which apparently exists, which will then have the ability to adjust the values and beliefs as to what can actually occur in reality as a result of engaging with this alleged entity. You get this in fundamentalist, literalist religions who are trying to terrify people away from one religious path and into another one, and therefore just building a culture based upon fear. You get this from people who are within witchcraft groups or pagan groups or occult groups or spiritualist groups who try and terrify people into doing what they're told, because there's some cult mentality which goes into some New Age groups as well, which is actually thoroughly evil and unpleasant and untrustworthy and wrong. Okay, and something's got to be done. That's why I'm here. Okay, I mean, when I'm going through one of my slightly more messianic moments, I think to myself, well, what would witchcraft be without the dogma and without the tradition? That'd be pretty similar to what I do, wouldn't it? Transdeism, yeah. But the thing is, like, I'm not selling a religion. And of course that idea of what would something which has lots of rules and all the rest of it be, if it didn't have all the rules and the rest of it, but just the essence of what it meant, tacks into another theological line of thinking, which is of course really rather odd. But I don't think I'm anything special. It seems like what's right to do is to try and remove some dogma, and there's dogma about the existence of higher beings. There's dogma about the existence of spiritual beings or ghosts or angels and demons and all the rest of it. And it's all wrong, because it's all based upon an objective truth claim. Okay, and that objective truth claim is not provable. It's an unfalsifiable claim, as they'd say in science. Okay. All we can do is say there are strange things that happen under some strange circumstances, and what those things mean we can't say, but we can say that they are curious and that they happen. So, that's my views on the subject. So, chill out, play it cool. I'm no one special, and neither are you.